$18,000. That is the sticker price on a brand new electric car, the size of a Tesla Model Y, rolling off a line this morning. The last time you priced one, the window said closer to 40,000, and you closed the tab. 18,000 was supposed to be impossible. The cheapest Tesla you can order today is $36,999. Toyota builds this one for China, but nobody learns to build a car that cheap and then leaves it on the other side of the world. And in a field in Japan, they are pouring concrete for something bigger. A factory, for a battery that holds close to double the energy of anything sitting under a Tesla tonight. Toyota has been promising that battery for 30 years. This is the first time they have poured the foundation. This is the Tesla Vault. The car is called the BZ5. It is built in China by FAW Toyota, a joint venture that has been running for decades. And this is the part that matters, so stay with me. It is not a concept. It is not a motor show car that quietly disappears. 6 days after it went on sale, Toyota was handing keys to real owners in 100 cities. People are driving this thing to work. For 10 years, Toyota has been the punchline, the giant that missed electric cars, the company that bet on hybrids while everybody else raced ahead. Look at what the punchline just built. 4,780 millimeters long. A Tesla Model Y is 4,797. Park them next to each other and you would have to check the badge. 268 horsepower, 391 miles of range on China's test cycle, 30% to 80% charge in 27 minutes. And the price, in local money, is 129,800 yuan, just over $18,000. So get this. The company everybody wrote off just built a Model Y for less than half the price of a Model Y. And they did it with a battery they bought from somebody else. The one they are building themselves is the reason we are all here. Every battery in every electric car on the road tonight works the same way. There is a liquid inside it. That liquid is what carries the charge, and that liquid is why a battery pack is heavy, why it hates the cold, and why it can catch fire. Take the liquid out, replace it with a solid. That is the whole idea, and engineers have been chasing it since before most of us learned to drive. Toyota says its first solid battery is built to carry a car 621 miles on one charge. Sit with that number for a second. San Francisco to Los Angeles is about 380 miles. You would arrive with 200 miles still in the tank, having stopped for nothing but coffee. Toyota also says it will take that battery from 10% to 80% in around 10 minutes. Not 30, not overnight in the garage, 10. About as long as it takes to fill a gas tank and pay for a bad sandwich. None of that is confirmed by anybody outside Toyota yet, and no car you can buy has one of these in it today. But here is what makes this different from every other battery headline you have scrolled past. In October of last year, Toyota's solid-state battery received formal production approval in Japan, not a press release, a regulator signing off on a manufacturing process. Then, early this year, Toyota's partner Idemitsu Kosen broke ground on a full-scale plant to make the solid material that goes inside those cells. That is the part nobody talks about, and it is the only part that has ever mattered. Anybody can build one battery in a laboratory. The reason solid state has stayed 5 years away for 2 decades is that nobody could make the stuff in bulk. Building the plant is the moment a science project turns into a supply chain. Toyota has spent more than $15 billion getting here. They hold over 1,000 patents on this technology, more than anyone else on Earth. And now the part I left hanging. That $18,000 car does not run on a Toyota battery. It runs on a BYD battery. Toyota, the company with more solid-state patents than anybody, is buying cells from a Chinese competitor to put in its cheap electric car. That is not weakness, that is patience. Toyota is renting somebody else's battery today so it can keep building its own for tomorrow, and it is perfectly happy to look slow while it does it. Here is the number that explains why they bothered. The cells in your car tonight store somewhere around 250 to 300 watt-hours for every kilogram they weigh. Toyota's solid cell is built for 450. Same weight, nearly twice the driving. And they are not alone. Panasonic, the company that builds cells for Tesla today, has a solid-state pilot line running and says mass production starts in its next financial year. You heard that right. Tesla's own battery supplier is building the thing. That is what tells you this is real, not the range number, the concrete. Now let's break it all down, because there is a number in this story that nobody is talking about, and it is the one that will actually hit your bank account. Not the price of the car, the price of the battery. Every electric car sold today comes with a battery warranty of about 8 years. After that, you are on your own. And if the pack fails out of warranty, the bill runs into 5 figures, $10,000, sometimes a lot worse, on a car that might be worth 15. That is the thing that stops a 58-year-old man from buying an electric car. Not range, not charging. The quiet fear that 7 years from now there is a bill waiting for him that costs more than the car is worth. Toyota is claiming its solid battery holds 90% of its capacity after 15 years. 15 years, on the same battery. Run that against the way you actually own a car. You buy it at 58. You are still driving it at 73, and the pack has barely moved. There is no 5-figure bill. There was never going to be one. Now stack the prices. A comparable electric SUV in America, $50,000. A Tesla Model Y, $41,630, all in. The cheapest Tesla built, $38,630. And a Toyota, the same size, for $18,000. What sounds like the better deal to you? And before anybody says that only works in China, look at what is already sitting on a lot near you. Toyota's American electric car starts at $34,900. That is less than the cheapest Tesla on sale in this country, right now, today. Nobody put that in a headline. It just quietly happened. Here is the part most people miss, though. Toyota is not the only one who did the math. And Tesla, whatever you have heard, is not standing still. If this is the kind of thing you want to understand before it shows up on a dealer lot, subscribe. That is all we do here. 10 minutes, real numbers, what it actually costs you. Now let's be honest about Toyota, because they have earned some suspicion. They said this battery was coming in 2020, then 2023, then 2026. Each time the date moved, and each time there was a good reason, and each time nothing arrived. The current plan puts the first solid-state car in 2028, and it will be a Lexus, a flagship, expensive. The cheap version, the one that shows up in a Corolla, is not expected until closer to 2030. So no, you are not buying this next spring. And Tesla is not sitting there waiting to lose. Tesla made a different bet, deliberately. Instead of chasing chemistry, they went after cost, with a cell they designed themselves called the 4680. They nearly gave up on it when they could not build it cheaper than their own suppliers. Then they cracked a new way of making the cathode, and Musk now says it is the cheapest battery cell in the world to produce per unit of energy. That is not a company asleep at the wheel. That is a company that chose the other road. Which is exactly why this is interesting. Because the underlying technology is real, it is funded, it is approved, and the factory is going up. Toyota may be late again, but nobody is arguing about whether the battery works anymore. They are arguing about when. So imagine this. It is a Friday, a few years out. You are 61 now. Your daughter is in Los Angeles, and you have not seen the grandkids since spring. You go out to the driveway. The car cost you a little over $20,000, and it is a real car, not a compromise, not a golf cart with a badge. You get in and you drive, through the valley, down the length of California, 6 hours of it. And you do not stop, not once. Not to plug in, not to sit in a parking lot watching a percentage climb, not to plan your day around where the chargers are. You pull into her driveway with a third of the battery left. 15 years from now, that same battery will still hold 90% of what it holds tonight. You will be 76. It will still be the same car. That is not science fiction. That is a factory in Japan, with the concrete already down. There is a version of the future where the cheap electric car and the great battery arrive in the same vehicle. Toyota has now proved it can do both halves. The only question left is how fast it puts them together. And when it does, it will not be a rumor anymore. It will be sitting in a showroom off the highway, with a price on the windshield you can actually pay. So tell me in the comments, if Toyota puts a 15-year battery in a $20,000 car, does Tesla still get your money? This is the Tesla Vault. If you want to stay on top of what Tesla and SpaceX are building next, or what competitors they are facing, like this video and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one.